Hey guys, this is Subhashish Mishra, your test coach. Today we will learn top 20 basic Unix interview questions. In this video, I will cover most of the theoretical questions as we have already seen the basic commands in our previous video. If you have not watched it, please do watch it. That will be very helpful for you. It has top 25 Unix commands which are frequently asked in interview. I also provide the video link in the description. If you like the videos, please like, share and subscribe to our channel if you have not done it yet. Also press the bell icon so you can get the notification of all the new videos. Okay, so let's start. The very first question is, what is Unix? This is a very basic question asked in interview. You should able to explain it properly. We all know Unix is an operating system. Okay, so the Unix operating system is a set of programs that acts as a link between the computer and the user. Okay, and it was originally developed in 1969. By whom? It was developed by AT&T. Okay, so it was developed in 1969 by group of employees of AT&T. Okay, and it supports multitasking and multi-user functionality. Okay, so Unix supports multitasking and multi-user functionality. Unix is most widely used in all forms of computing systems such as desktop, laptop and servers. Okay, on Unix there is a graphical user interface similar to Windows that support easy navigation and also supports different environment. Using graphical user interface or GUI, Unix based system is easy to use, but you should know the Unix commands. Okay, so wherever this GUI is not available, you can use those commands. For example, telnet session. Okay, there are several different versions of Unix. The most popular varieties of Unix are like Sun Solaris, Linux, Mac OS. Okay, so that's all about Unix and you can explain it very easily. Okay, now we'll move to the next question. Can you explain Unix architecture? So this is a very important question. So here interviewer just want to check if you understand the fundamental concepts. Okay, so the architecture of Unix is basically divided into 4 parts. Okay, so kernel, hardware, shell, files and directories. Okay, the first layer kernel deals with all the hardware connection, all the application and the commands are associated with it. Then we have the hardware. Hardware is the second layer which includes all the parts of a computer including clocks, timers, devices and different parts. Okay, then we have shell. So shell is a software program and it acts as a mediator between the kernel and the user. Okay, it reads the commands and then interrupts them and sends a request to execute a program. So basically the shell is also called a command interrupter. Then we have files and directories which can be, you can say, Unix commands or Unix program. Okay, the final layer is the user. So the whole operating system is visible to the user from the shell itself. Okay, so that's all about the Unix architecture. Okay, we'll move to the next question. So what is kernel? So kernel is the heart of the operating system. It interacts with the hardware and does most of the tasks like memory management, controlling access to the computer, maintaining the file system, handling interrupts, handling errors, performing input and output services, allocate the resources of the computer among users. Okay, so kernel is the most powerful one among the 4 layers. It contains mainly utilities along with the master control program, and kernel program has the power to start or stop a program and even handling the file system. Okay, it also suggests which program to be selected when 2 resources try to access the device at the same time for the same resource. Okay, so that's all about kernel. Now we'll move to the next question. What is shell? So shell is a software program which acts as a communication bridge between kernel and user. When the user gives the commands, the shell reads the commands, understands them, and then sends a request to execute the program. Then when the program is executed, it again sends the request to display the program to the user on screen. Okay, so the shell is also called a command interpreter. Shell performs different tasks like file opening, file writing, executing programs, obtaining details information about the program, termination of the process, getting information about time and date. Okay, so that's all about shell. Now we'll move to the next question. What is a single user system? Okay, so single user systems are the ones with an operating system designed to operate by single user at a given time. Okay, so the best example is your personal computer. Okay, so these systems become more popular since low cost hardware and availability of a wide range of a software to perform different tasks. Okay, so that's all about your single user system. So when someone is asking about a single user system, the best example you can think about your computer. Okay, now we'll move to the next question. What are the significant features of Unix? Okay, so you should definitely understand, you should definitely know what are the different features of Unix. So those are machine independent, portability, multi-user operation, Unix cells, hierarchical file system, pipes and filters, background processors, utilities, development tools. So all these are different features of Unix. Okay, we'll move to the next question. What is the general format of Unix command? Okay, so this is again a very basic question, right? So this is the normal format. You can use command, then hyphen argument, then file name. So you can always refer to our previous video where we have seen different commands how we can use. Okay, so this is the general format of Unix command. We'll move to the next question. So what is the command used to erase all files in the current directory including all its subdirectories? Okay, so we know rm minus r star is used to erase all the files in the current directory including all subdirectories. Okay, so rm is used to delete all files. Okay, and then hyphen r is used to delete directories and subdirectories with files within that. Okay, then star indicates all entries. So whatever entries are there, everything will be deleted. Okay, so we know rm is used for deleting the files, and with addition of hyphen r it will erase all files and all directories and subdirectories and whatever file inside that, and asterisk represents all entries. Okay, we'll move to the next question. What is a link in Unix? Link is used to assigning more than one name to a file. It is like a pointer to a file, and one file can have multiple pointers. It is not valid to assign more than one name to a directory or to link file names on a different computers. Okay, so there are two types of link. One is hard link and another is symbolic links. Okay, so what is hard link? Hard linked files are assigned to the same inode value as the original file. Okay, and it refers to the same physical location of the original file. Also, if the file is deleted, if the original file is deleted or moved to a different directory, the link will still work because it's present in the same hard disk. You can see here, right? Then what is symbolic link? A symbolic link or a soft link is similar to the file shortcut feature. Okay, and it contains a separate inode than the original one. Okay, so if the original file is deleted or moved, then the link might not work, but it can reference across the different file systems. So here you can see the different commands for hard link and the symbolic link. Okay, so these are the commands you can use for different hard link or symbolic link. Okay, now we'll move to the next question. What is pipe in Unix? Okay, so pipe is used to combine two or more commands. Okay, so the output of the commands acts as input to another command, and that command's output may act as input to the next command, and so on. Okay, so in short, the output of each process directly as input to the next one, like a pipeline. Okay, so we'll see what is the symbol used for this pipeline. Okay, and the most important things are these pipes are unidirectional. What it means? It means data flows from left to right through the pipeline. Okay, so we will understand this pipeline through one example. Okay, we'll go to our terminal. So here you can see I am in this location. If you can see I am in this location, and I have one file, that name is file1. Okay, so if you want to see what is there in that file1, I'll just write cat file1. So you can see this file contains all these details. Okay, so for example, you want to search something, right? What is there in that file? So how you will do that, right? So I'll write like this, cat file1, then I will put the pipeline. Okay, then what I'll do, I'll just use grep. You know, grep is used for search something. So what you want to search here? For example, you want to search tiger. Okay, so let's see. So here you can search it, right? So you used a pipe here. Okay, similarly, if you want to search for a rat, you can do that. Okay, so whatever the input, so cat file contains all these details, then you used pipeline to search it. Okay, for example, you want to sort all these details. So how you will do that? So you can again write cat, then you can write file1, then what you will do, you will sort it, right? You want to sort it, so you can just write sort. Okay, see, all these details are sorted, right? Similarly, if you want to sort in a descending order, so what you can do, sort minus r. Okay, see, this sorted in a descending order. So this is how you can use pipe. So this is the symbol of pipe. Okay, now we'll move to the next question. Okay, so explain the term filter. Okay, what is filter? A filter is described as a program which takes input from the standard input and displays results to the standard output by performing some actions on it. Standard input could be text typed on the keyboard, input from the other files, or output of other files serving as input. Okay, and standard output is by default the display screen. Okay, so there are different commands like awk, grep, sed, spell, and wc and all, right? So a filter takes input from one command, does some processing, and gives output. Okay, so when you pipe two commands, the filtered output of the first command is given to the next. Okay, so let's understand with an example. In our previous example, we have seen, right? So when you did this cat file1, you saw all these details you can see, right? So if you want to see something like cat file1 and you are searching something, right? So grep, and you are doing something like something you are searching, and here let's do something like this. I will try to find out these words which are in these words. If a is not there, I'll just find those words. Okay, so I'll write something like this. So you see, we see dog, tiger, cow, and monkey. So in cat, a is there, and in rat, a is there, and ant, a is there. That's why we didn't find it. We just found all these words. Okay, because we used this command. Okay, again what we want to do, whatever this list we got, right, in that we want to do a sorting. Okay, so what you can do again, so again you can use a pipe, and then what you can do, you can write sort. Okay, see, you sorted it, right? Same result, but you sorted it. Okay, if you want to sort in a descending order, okay, see, now again you sorted. Okay, so tiger came first, then monkey, dog, and cow. Okay, so this is the example of your filter. Okay, now we'll move to the next question. Okay, what is the fork system call? Okay, so the command used to create a new process from an existing process is called fork. Okay, so the main process is called the parent process and the newly created process is called as child process. This was used to achieve parallelism before threads. The fork system call takes no arguments and returns an integer. Okay, so 0 means that the child process is created successfully and 0 refers to the child process within the parent process. Okay, minus 1 means the system was unable to create another process. Child process is not created, in that time it will be minus 1. Then there is a new PID which is returned to the parent process, which represents the process ID of the child process. So all that you can see in this image, right? So here in this diagram you see this is the initial process of the parent process and this is the fork system call. When this is called, then there is a child process also parallel to the parent process got called and it returns 0 when the process is created successfully. If it is not created successfully, then it will be minus 1 and there is a new PID which is returned to the parent process and represents to the child PID. Okay, so that's all about your fork system call. Now we will move to the next question. What is meant by the term super user? So the super user is an user with access to all files and commands within the system. Generally this super user login is used to access root and it is secured within the root password. Okay, now we will move to the next question. What is the process group? A collection of one or more process is called a process group. There is a unique process ID for each process group. So this function returns the process group ID for the calling process. Now we will move to the next question. Explain no hop in Unix. No hop is a special command that is available to run a process in the background. The process starts with no hop command, doesn't terminate even the user started to log up from the system. So now we'll move to the next question. What are the different file types available with Unix? So we know regular files, directory files, character special files, block special files, FIFO, symbolic links, socket. So all these are different file types available in Unix. Okay, now we'll move to the next question. What is the difference between absolute path and relative path? So relative path refers to the path relative to the current path. Okay, whereas an absolute path refers to the exact path as referred from the root directory. Okay, now we will move to the next question. What is the difference between swapping and paging? Okay, so in the case of swapping, the main memory is loaded with the complete process and thus only the process less than the main memory size is executable. Whereas in case of paging, instead of loading the whole process into the main memory, only required memory pages are loaded. And swapping is fairly easy to implement but not very efficient, whereas paging is complex to implement but allows us to run a number of processes simultaneously. Okay, now we'll move to the next question. So what are some of the most commonly used network commands in Unix? So we have a telnet command which is used for remote login. Then we have ping, so it is an echo request for testing connectivity. Then SHU, so user switching command. Then FTP, file transfer protocol used for copying files. Then you have finger, information gathering command. Okay, so what is the behavioral difference between CMP and diff command? So CMP command is used to compare given two files with byte by byte and display the fast mismatch, whereas diff, it will display changes that need to do to make both files identical. Okay, so that is the major difference between CMP and diff command. Okay, so that's all for today. So here we have covered most of the basic questions. In our next video we will see some more difficult questions. Okay, I hope this video will be helpful for you. Thank you. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comment section. I will try to explain it. Please like, share and subscribe to my channel.